Hey guys, it's Bennett. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a box of 1995 Bowman Baseball. This one just kind of fell into my lap and I figured I'd rip it open. I always like to open some, some kind of oddball stuff. Not that 95 Bowman's necessarily oddball, but it's fun to open some older cards. It's hard to believe that this box is now 31 years old. Certainly makes me feel old. There aren't going to be any really big chases in this. There was at one point Andrew Jones rookie, Vlad Guerrero's rookie. During Jones's career, that was this card out of this set was one of the most desirable cards in the hobby. Not so much anymore. There's some other guys in here. Scott Rolen's rookie is in here. I'm trying to think of who else is in here. I think Hideo Nomo is in here. I'm struggling to think who else. But, you know, that's what we're looking for, right? There's going to be some foil in here. There's going to be gold foil prospects randomly inserted. We're just going to rip into it and see what we can find. These boxes retail for around, I think they're around $200. Which is frankly a little high, considering how hard it is to hit anything of real value out of them. But, still, it's an older product. It's Bowman, and it's cool. So let's get into it. Let's get all the packs out, and we will get to ripping. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope the hobby's treating you well. I'm a little under the weather, so if my voice sounds a little off, that's why. And let's get into these cards. First, let's take a look at the design. They're going to be kind of flipped all over the place. We're going to have, I think, one foil card in every pack. And let's get into it. We're going to see some names that nobody's ever heard of, right? It's a Bowman product. There's Chris Truby. There's, Billy Wagner. Billy Wagner's another one in this. I think this is Wagner's. Yes, this is his prospect card as well. So that's cool. There's Bill Simas, who doesn't remember him. There's Doug Glanville. Robert Person. Again, some of these names, there's Chuck Knobloch. You'll see some vets in here. I don't know if anybody remembers how Knobloch's career ended. There's Carlos Baerga. He got the yips. Couldn't throw the ball from second to first anymore. And we're going to keep going. So, again, the packs say, I just want to see, loaded with prospects and Major League stars, special gold foil prospect card randomly inserted. Okay, that's what we're looking for, obviously. And there's an all-foil prospect card in every pack. The Guerrero now is probably the chase in 95 Bowman, I would guess. There's Gary Sheffield as a Marlin. Bill Swift. But I might be wrong. It might be the Andrew Jones still. I'm not really sure. There's Keith Williams. And there's, that's cool. That's a Scott Rolen Prime Prospect card. That's a cool card. That's probably got some value. It's cool either way. There's Rico Bonia. There's Steve Rodriguez. Obviously, I'm not opening this trying to make money, right? I'm opening this to have fun, which I would encourage you to do always. But, I mean, if you were opening this product, the Scott Rolen foil is a pretty cool card to hit. Let's see what else we got going here. Some of these are sticking together. There's the big unit. There's Royce Clayton, Darren Lewis, Jason Ryan. There's Mike Hubbard. There's a Ryan Nye. I don't think any relation to Bill. There's a Jason Schmidt. There's a Chipper Jones prime prospect. Oh, Chipper Jones. That's right. So that's another, you know what, frankly, it's a great start to this box, right? Chipper Jones and Scott Rolen. Prime prospects are not bad at all. So we will take those. But I'm pretty sure this is year one. This will be the first Bowman for Andrew Jones and and Vlad Guerrero. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Chipper Jones first Bowman, his first Bowman would have been probably a few years before this, maybe even as far back as 91 for the first time we would have seen a card for Chipper. But I could be mistaken. There's Bobby Bonilla still getting paid by the Mets. Look at that look on his face. You think he had any idea that was going to happen? I don't think so. He would have been smiling. There's Jack McDowell, Chris Carpenter. I feel like Chris Carpenter, this would have been his first Bowman too. You know, back then, yeah, I think this is Chris Carpenter's first Bowman as well. Back then, they didn't have the first on them. So you just kind of had to know if it was their first card or not. There is Rod Anderson. Anybody know Rod Anderson? I do not remember Rod Anderson. There's Ryan Nye again. There's Matt Apina. Will Clark, there's the Thrill, and Aaron Holbert. All right, so far so good. Guys, if you're checking the channel out for the first time, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. We have, I think I spied the name too. That's a gold foil, and I think I might have spied the name. And if I'm right, that's actually about as good as you can do out of this box. Let's see if I'm right. So there we have Jamie Bluma, and here is a gold foil prospect card of Chipper Jones. This is very cool. That's a very, very cool card. Let me see if I can get this off here clean. There's a card stuck to the back of it. Let me put these down. Oops, sorry, I'm hitting the camera now. Let me get I didn't think I'd need pennies for this, frankly, but let me get a penny. Let me get some pennies. And let me put that one in a penny. Looks pretty well centered too, doesn't it? It looks pretty clean. That looks pretty clean for what it is. Card was stuck to the back, but it doesn't look like anything happened to it. You know what? We're going to show that the respect it deserves. Excuse me. We're going to get that bad boy in a top loader. How about that? I really didn't think we were going to need a top loader for this. Wow. That's a cool card. I mean, honestly, that's about as good as you can expect to do. These don't fall that often in the box. And to get Chipper on one of these this has got to be a pretty good hit. So I'm going to call that a little bing bong bang. That's pretty cool. I'll look it up after. If you know the value, if you think you know the value, please drop me a comment. But that's a good card. I'm psyched about that. Very happy. There's Sean Sr. I don't know who Sean Jr. is. Made myself laugh. There's Kevin Brown. There is Owen Hudek. There he is. And Dave Hollins. Remember Dave Hollins? Phillies, right? Dave Hollins? He's not. Oh, yeah, Phillies. I'm right. All right. Last pack of the first quarter of this box. I mean, so far, again, this is about as good as you could hope to do. There's Griffey and Clemens. These are cool. Like, if you can get the refractors or the foils of these, I think they're available in here. They probably have some good value, but they're cool cards nonetheless. Griffey and Clemens. There's Chad Curtis. Simpler time, right? Griffey and Clemens. Clemens still in the Red Sox. Griffey still in the Mariners. Man, simpler times. Nobody had been to Congress yet. In the case of Clemens, nobody misremembered anything yet. Oh, it was such a nice time. There's Sergio Nunez for the Royals. Minor league MVPs. Good for you, Sergio. There's Carlos Delgado. Wow. I don't think this would be his first. I don't think so. I think it would have been earlier. And there's Derek Lee for the Padres. But maybe. And how about that? Carlos Delgado, the catcher. It's amazing how many top prospects, isn't it, who are catchers coming up out of the minors. I mean, think about in recent memory. Think about how many catchers were like the #1 pick, or how many catchers were the #1 prospect. They don't often stay catchers, or they don't always stay catchers, I should say. Danny Tartable, but oftentimes they're catchers. There's Saberhagen, Scott Sullivan. There's Wayne Gomes. This is, the hell is this? Quilvio Veras. I wonder what you're up to, Quilvio. I do not remember you making the majors. John Nunley. What's this? Cincinnati Reds, Aaron Boone. Oh, look at that. There's Booney. First impressions. It's pretty cool. Wally Joyner and Mike Bovee. I remember both of those guys playing. It's great going back 30 plus years, right? In a box of cards and seeing what's just been kind of sitting there. He's in pretty good shape for 30 plus years old. There's Jeff Montgomery. There's Ruben Sierra. Terry Pendleton. Damian Moss. Who's on the back of Damian Moss? Ryan Hancock. I'm not even going to bother prying you off there. There's Mark Farris. There's Quilvio again. Brad Woodall. I remember Brad Woodall. This is Edgar Martinez and Shannon Stewart. Edgar Martinez. One of the great DHs to ever do it. Is he in the Hall, Edgar Martinez? He must have been eligible in that by now. Curious. Anybody know if Edgar Martinez is in the Hall? Drop me a comment. I don't remember if he is or he is not. There's Chris Hoyles, Steve Avery, Marquise Grissom. There's Chris Cumberland. Keep going. Easier said than done. There's Greg Hansel of Hansel and Gretel fame. Didn't do much in the majors, but, There's Mark Farris. Sorry, I'm a father to a couple of 12-year-olds, and the dad jokes just kind of come. They flow out of me. I can't really help it. There's Mark Johnson. There's Lenny Dykstra. Lenny Dykstra, I just saw on TV, is like back in court for something. I don't know what the hell it is. And there's a horribly off-center checklist. Look at that. Way to cut. Poor Lenny Dykstra. I mean, I know he did some terrible, terrible things to people too. I mean, I don't mean poor like that, but just, man, what happened to his life. Holy cow. I mean, that guy was, as a New Yorker and as a Mets fan, Dykstra was one of my favorite guys growing up. He really was. And then, even when he went to Philly, he was a beast there, right? He was in the World Series with Philly, I think. Yeah, he definitely was. He was on that Philly team that lost to Joe Carter and it was another gold prospect. Okay, prime prospect, another gold, which is cool, but it's Rod Henderson. You tell me who Rod Henderson is. I don't remember Rod. Rod, what did you do in the minors? You pitched through 53 games, a 3.45 ERA. It's not great. Okay, well, anyway, it's still a gold prospect, but I'm going to put it in the other pile. I'm going to give it credit because it's gold. There's Torrey Hunter. John Mabry. Torrey Hunter is another one. I don't think this would be his first, but cool card to catch. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Dykstra on that Phillies team in '93 that lost to Joe Carter? Wasn't that the touch 'em all Joe when he hit the home run to win the series? Wasn't that team? I think so. Anyway, let's keep going. We got Mike Mussina, and look at that. Like I summoned them from I don't know what, but look at that card. Look at this card. Look at the top of this card. It's almost like a quarter decal edge Joe Carter. That is not any kind of insert. That is a crazy card. It must have, when they crimped the pack, they must have crimped this card. Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine? Open this box back in the day and then let this be the chipper gold and that's what your card looks like? How aggravated would you be? There's Roberto Kelly. Damon Hollins. There's Freddie Garcia. Tommy Davis. There's Dean Palmer. That's Dustin Hermanson. And Yamil Benitez. Hello, Yamil. All right, last pack of the first half. Guys, I know these are longer videos. Let me know in the comments if you like these, if you like going down memory lane. I enjoy doing it because I enjoy opening these, and this brings me back, you know, to what it was like, what the hobby was like before it went completely bananas. Which is, you know, it's just fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to look at these old cards and take a look. Look at this. They did it again in this pack. Look at this Mike Greenwell. Look at that. Oh, it's a Barry Bonds. It's a cool card. How you doing, Barry? There's Mark Loretta. Justin Thompson. Kevin Brown. That is Mark Newfield. I remember Mark Newfield, but I don't need to put him in any particular file. There's Edgardo Alfonso, underrated for the time that he played in the league. He was one of the premier infielders for a while. He could swing. He swung a mean bat. There's Reggie Sanders, and there's Edgar Renteria. Renteria was a beast in his time too. He was indeed a beast. For a little while, at least. Okay, let's keep going. We got Juan. Oh, that's Juan Gonzalez. Look at the J. The J's in red. I'm like, Juan. Like an idiot. It's Juan Gonzalez. Kenny Lofton. Anybody remember Juan Gonzalez had like 100 RBIs by the All-Star break one season? I don't know if anybody remembers that season. It was a crazy season. It looked like he was going to break, who is it? Is it Gehrig's record? He was certainly like way ahead of pace, and he fell off towards the back half. There's Posada. There's Matt Raleigh. There's Kevin Brown again. There's Garrett Anderson. Look at that, a Garrett Anderson prime prospects. That's pretty cool. There's Matt Williams. That was a good pack. I mean, as far as, you know, players, good players in it. So that was a good pack. I lost track of what I was even talking about, but Juan Gonzalez. Yeah, he had a season where he had like 101 RBIs at the break, and the All-Star break was pretty close to the midway point of the season. Sometimes it bounces around now, but it was at the time was near the middle of the season. Really, people thought he was gonna go after that record. I'm fairly certain it's Gehrig. There's Greg Vaughn, but I don't remember. There is Andrew Vessel. I say that like I know who the hell he is. There's Willis Atenez. How you doing, Willis? Antonio Osuna. Travis Miller. There's Jim Brower. Pete Harnish. And Ricky Otero. Remember Ricky Otero? People were high on Ricky Otero. As a Mets fan, I remember that never panned out, as with many of the Mets prospects back in the day. All right, let's see what we got. There's Ray Langford, Hal Morris. There's Chan-Ho Park, Kevin Gallagher, Andy Talby, Fausto Macy. Some names on these guys. There's Chris Wenke. That's not Wenke, is it? It is Chris Wenke. There's Sal Fasano, Jeff Granger, and Jason Peterson. Again, for those of you who are sticking around, who are watching this, who like the content, please, if you would, hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel if you have not. It really helps me out. It helps with the algorithm tremendously. When I get to 1,000 subscribers, is Dave Cohen, and right behind him, David Justice. We're going to do a little giveaway, much like I did at 500 subscribers. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but I will certainly let everyone know once I make that decision. And I'll do a video about exactly what the giveaway is and how to get into it. Oh, we got another gold coming up. That's Jerry Martin. There's, Ricky. Ricky. He loved him some Ricky. Sad to lose him. There's Jamie Bluma. All right, Mr. Bluma, you go in the Rod Henderson pile. We're going to put some respect on you because you're gold, but since I don't know who the hell you are, we're going to put you over there. Let's keep going. Man, these packs are not easy to open. They're fighting me. Each and every one of them is fighting me. There's Rafael Palmeiro. Oh, Rafi. You know, point your finger at some people and yell at them. It's a good thing. Look what they did to Rafi. They knew. Oops, excuse me. They knew. They knew he had done some things he shouldn't have. There's Orlando Merced, Blackjack McDowell, Jason Isringhausen. Again, as a Mets fan, and I don't know if you were baseball fans who were of a certain age, remember how big a prospect Isringhausen was. Huge prospect. He did well. I think he pitched for I want to say the Cardinals. Out of their bullpen, I think he might have been a closer for them for a little while. So, he had some success, but just not what was expected of him. He was supposed to be the next really, really big thing. There's John Ambrose. There is, who was that? That's Dikembe Connor. Dikembe. There's Roberto Alomar and Cade Kaspar. Roberto Alomar. Anybody, first person in the comments who drops, and don't look it up, first person who tells me which ump Roberto Alomar spit in the face of is going to get a prize from me. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it'll be pretty cool. It'll be pretty cool. All right, let's keep going. But don't look it up. Don't cheat. I'll know somehow. There's Jeff Kent. He just got in the Hall, right? Jeff Kent? Power hitting second baseman. There's Dante. There's Bo's daddy. Randy Myers. Glenn Dishman. There's Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw. Boy, oh boy. Look at this guy. Hall of Fame quarterback for the Steelers, and then bam, right there. Cardinals prospect years later. Pretty good. There's John Thompson. Jason Kelly. There's a Todd Hollinsworth. Hollinsworth was another big prospect, Todd Hollinsworth. There's Mo Vaughn, disastrous Met. And Mo, greatest closer of all time. As much as I'm not a Yankee guy, you got to give respect to Mariano Rivera because he earned it. All right, there's Greg Vaughn, Pat Henkin, Terry Pendleton with the Marlins. Pendleton looks like he's 100 years old here. Pendleton wasn't that old. Jeff Suppan, Brian Barber, Mark Barcelo, Kareem Garcia. Kareem Garcia had a little career. There's Alex Ochoa. Remember the Alex Ochoa? I do. Tom Pagnozzi and Angel Martinez. All those guys got some run. It was another one of those packs. It wasn't as talented as the other guys, but a lot of guys you know. There's Juan Gon again. There's Devon White, one of the great defensive center fielders. There's Pudge Rodriguez, one of the great defensive catchers, also could swing the stick. Desi Relaford. Oh, Desi Relaford. I remember Desi Relaford. There's John Ambrose. There's Ray Ordonez. There's Ray Ordonez. Jeff Abbott. I remember Jeff Abbott. There's Terry Pendleton again. And Steve Wojciechowski. Isn't that the same name as the reporter? But isn't that also like the eyeball dude from the Pixar movies or whatever that is, with the monsters? There's Donnie Baseball. Oh, Donnie. When's he going to get into the Hall? There's Doug Traback. That's a shame that Donnie Baseball is not in the Hall. Yeah, his back gave out, but there was nobody better. There was no more feared hitter in baseball for like a 4 or 5 year stretch in the American League than Don Mattingly. And add to that, a Gold Glove, amazing first baseman. Don Mattingly should be in the Hall. That's a crime. There's Doug Draback, Larry Walker, Steve. Is that Steve Gibraltar? Yeah, Steve Gibraltar. There's Joe Vitiello, Bob Walcott. There's Billy Ashley. That's Jay Bell, right? Yep. And Matt Drews. Don't know who Matt Drews is. Jay Bell. Jay Bell had some great glasses, if I'm thinking of the right player. I think so, right? Jay Bell was a glasses guy. All right, who else we got here? We got Pedro. Look at that. Think about the Expos team, right? It had Pedro, Randy Johnson, Vladimir Guerrero. That team was loaded, absolutely loaded. They just got no support. They had some seasons though. I think the season before this, right? 94, the strike season. I think they were way ahead. Right? Was 94 the strike? I think so. And they were unstoppable, and they just never were able to pick it back up and keep that momentum going. But they were unbelievable for a while there. Joe Video. I mean, with Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez at the top of your, look at Ruben Rivera. How you doing, Ruben? Robin Ventura at the top of your rotation. How could you not be dominant? Vlad in right field throwing guys out from like 380 feet, flat-footed, hitting bombs off the dirt. The team was a lot of fun to watch. There's Jimmy Key. There's John Olerud. John Olerud, we saw Ricky earlier. If you've never heard John Olerud tell the story about when he got traded, I think it was from the Mets to the Blue Jays or the other way around. I don't know. Ricky got traded or Ricky got picked up like 6 months behind him. If you've never heard the story, you should search for it on YouTube. It's hysterical. And he talks about how Ricky started asking him about why he wore his helmet. And if you don't know, he had like an aneurysm in high school or college, and he wore the helmet to protect himself. And Ricky came to him in the locker room and was like, why do you wear the helmet? And he told him the story. And he was like, I played with another guy who wore the same kind of helmet, had the same kind of story. And Olerud was like, yeah, Ricky, that was me. Like 6 months apart. Ricky Henderson was one of the great, in addition to being one of the great players to ever do it, he was one of the great characters in baseball. He really, really amazing. This is Derek Gibson. And right behind him is a Scott Rolen gold. Are you kidding me? This box is like, there's a Maddox. This box is probably like the best box of 1995 Bowman Baseball they printed. This is nuts. All right, let's get another sleeve. We're not going to put him in a top loader right now, but let's get another sleeve. And this one, honestly, this one looks pretty well centered as well. Looks pretty clean. Wow, that's pretty good. I mean, really, to get Rolen and Jones, because what do we get? We got like 4 in this box, right? 4 out of 24, so that's how they fall. And with as big as the checklist on those cards must be, to get those 2 guys is pretty awesome. There's Mickey Tettleton. There's Ivan, what's your name? Arteaga. No idea who that is. There's Mark Thompson. On the back is Carl Everett. And then we have Dave Nilsson. And, whoa, look at that. All right, I'm declaring this one of the best boxes of, right? Am I nuts? Or is this one of the best boxes of 1995 Bowman you've ever seen? I think it is. Let's put Derek in a penny. Wow. So, all right, guys, that is it for 95 Bowman Baseball. But look at this pull out of one box. This is crazy. There's another chipper there. There's another Rolen there. I mean, that's crazy. This is a crazy take from a box like this. This is, I mean, if you open this box back in the day or now, you'd be like, get out of here. There's no way. This is like an influencer box. It's like, this, it's like Topps gave this to some, this was put together for some influencer and they accidentally, it accidentally got on a shelf and made its way to me. Anyway, guys, that's it for 1995 Bowman Baseball. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stuck with me the whole way. Again, hit the like button if you like the content. Drop a comment. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you next time.